after that. More layers get added on more layers, right? Not everybody in the Earth Kingdom is good. Not everybody in the Water Tribes. They're not all underpowered, right? Because the Northern Water Tribe is so strong. And not everybody in the Fire Nation is evil. The layers continue to be added the longer the story goes on. In your campaign, do that. Most people have a hard time starting a campaign because they don't know where to start. They think they need 7 kingdoms, hundreds of houses, thousands of NPCs. No, stop. You don't need that. What you need is one town, one place, 4 or 5 NPCs, and an inciting incident.
What a joke. I worked my ass off to get where I am. And you take these shortcuts and you think suddenly you're my peer? You do what I do because you're funny and you can make people laugh? I committed my life to this.
Every day I wake up and I hope you're dead. Dead like if I can guarantee Henry would be okay, I'd hope you get an illness and then get hit by a car and die.
In this video, we're going to talk about secondary objectives, a way to make your combat encounters spicy, delicious, fantastic. Secondary objectives enhance combat in D&D to an exponential degree. Let's go ahead and dive into number 10. Rescue missions. Task your players with rescuing an NPC or retrieving an item during combat. It will help add layers of urgency and potentially even a moral dilemma. My favorite example of this is instead of sending the players to kill the goblin camp that may raid the village, right? That's a consequence. Sometimes that's good enough. The goblins abducted the blacksmith. And now they need to save the blacksmith and kill the goblins. It's a secondary objective that spices things up.
You people should be thanking Christ that I am who and what I am because you need me. You need me to save you. You do. I am the only one who possibly can. You're not the real heroes. I'm the real hero.
Holy, look at all this damage!
Where? Where, Dwight?
Seems like you already know where.
Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do, and so do I. I believe that until proven guilty, every man, woman, and child in this country is innocent.
Now it's left to me to deal with him. You can't.
If you try to interfere, this becomes a much simpler matter. I will kill your wife.
I will kill your son. I will kill your infant daughter.
But for now, we're going to look at a slightly different system that doesn't just affect the moment of death, but the moments before death. Something that makes combat more grounded, horror more horrifying, and sacrifices all the more heroic. Picture a movie fight scene between a hero and villain. They're clashing blades, dancing back and forth, parrying, dodging, blocking, keeping up with each other's advances, surprising each other with new techniques and strategies, until finally, one of them lands a devastating blow. It's not just a graze on the arm, it's not just a smack on the chest. It's 0 HP. When using the point of no return system, we want to draw attention to this moment of the fight, to make that hit extra cinematic and weighted and affect the decisions that your players are going to make when they are given that critical choice of staying down or getting up.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
So with that, let's go ahead and dive into our first build, the level 5 Blighted Warden.
in the shadowed underbrush of the ancient forest, where the line between decay and growth blurs, the blighted warden moves unseen. A spectral guardian at the crossroads of life and death, melding the Gloomstalker's mastery of darkness with the Circle of Spores' eerie command over fungal life. They are the embodiment of nature's unchecked, wild ferocity. With each arrow knocked from their twisted, spore-infested bow, they strike with the precision of night and the inevitable spread of decay. A silent protector of the natural order's darker, untamed side.
So there we go. There's our thematic intro.
I have to finish the story.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why?
Hi there, everybody, and welcome back to Roll with Advantage. Let's go ahead and roll the intro and dive in. Bam.
I'd like to welcome you to the world of Evrand.
The Seekers of Insanity.
I told you to leave me alone. I could do this.
I wanted us to live and I wanted him dead.
I am so happy to see you.
Every party needs a pooper.
Raise the blade!
John, are you having fun?
I would like to welcome you.
And we're back.
Since Joe didn't take it. Shake my head.
Welcome back to the Tales of Evrand. Session 100.
Yeah!
Thank you, Ryan. Book 9, Chapter 14.
Open
Whoa!
game style.
I know.
Stop
So-
proud of your show, Nick.
Yeah. Without further ado, as we do every week, someone reads the summary, and on Evrand here, it's always Joe. So, Joe, read the summary. Take us into the GOM.
Yeah. Book 9, Chapter 13, The Rift of Tholbadir. We arrive in the throne room and immediately face off against Baphomet. The battle is intense, with several close calls, but a masterful combination of Yrsa's Wall of Thorns and Basil's Blade Barrier keep the monsters at bay. After a hard-fought struggle, Baphomet is killed and Yrsa successfully closes the rift, securing Tholbadir from further demonic incursions. With the immediate threat gone, we rally with the King of Dagrim, who pledges his forces to join us in the siege of Ventus Ferrum and the final battle against the Demogorgon. We board the airships, ready for the next steps, heading to Ventus Ferrum to face down the Demogorgon and end this once and for all. I don't know what happened there at the end, but I really just leaned into it.
All right, yeah. Thank you, Joe, for the summary. So, as we dive back into the game, the party has boarded the airship provided to them by the Dagrim Empire after disembarking from Tholbadir, after saving it from the incursion of the abyssal creatures. Closing the rift behind you, the forces of Dagrim are now on their way to the front lines of the fight, outside of the capital of Valamine, where now Ventus Ferrum, the corrupted floating city, resides. As the airship takes off with the small crew aboard with you, all of you just kind of look around and realize that the sky has become dark. Everywhere you look, there are clouds of black and purple, lightning striking in the distance in the area of which you are all headed. You have some time alone to yourselves. You have about a day or so before you reach the front lines and reconvene with the leaders of the empires and forge the final attack against Demogorgon. So, Seekers, you have one day. One day to speak amongst each other, one day to plan. So, what would you like to do?
Yeah, there's one thing right at the top that Rian wants to do that's pretty brief.
Okay.
So first things first, he is going to go and he's since we're on the airship, it's probably not too hard, but he's going to find Yrsa as soon as they get up there.
She's around.
Okay. He'll just approach and say, Yrsa, would you be able to assist me with something very briefly?
Yes, of course.
So, with the plains thinning, the rifts, I can feel the connection with Hikari growing stronger, and with everything that's happened, I felt my power grow as well, and I think I might be able to finally heal her of the wounds on her wings. I don't know what it'll be like for her, so I was hoping you might be able to try and calm her as I cast the spell to try and heal that.
Of course, I can speak with her the entire time and try to keep her as calm as possible.
Thank you. All right.
Then with that, they'll kind of move to a secluded area, and out of the wristband, bless you, he will summon Hikari, and he'll once again look at these sort of like grizzled, like stubby wings jutting out of the back, the ones that he pours his divine energy into to cause those spectral wings to appear for a short period of time. And he'll look to her very deeply in the eyes and say,
Hikari, I'm going to try something to try and make you better, all right? I'm going to be focusing really hard on it. Yrsa here, he's going to keep you company, all right? And she's going to talk you through whatever you're feeling, okay?
You can tell that Hikari understands your words and just kind of nuzzles up towards you.
All right. Yeah, and then he'll kind of sit down, and over the course of let's see, 10 minutes, he's going to begin this ritual as he is burning different incense and spreading different natural agents and ingredients on the ground in vague circles and shapes near him. And the spell, the magic begins to sort of creep towards Hikari, like vines and leaves growing from these spots of ash and dirt. And they begin to sort of wrap around Hikari's legs and move up her body. Kayla, I don't know if there was anything in particular you wanted to do with Hikari to try and keep her calm in that moment.
Yeah, I think Yrsa would have just like be brushing her mane and just like talking to her very gently and telling her stories, trying to keep her attention on her rather than what Rian is doing in particular. and just trying to give her as many soothing touches as possible.
Yeah, at the beginning of the ritual, Hikari fully trusts Rian, Yursa, I mean the party. So Hikari started to like lay down, and as the vines start wrapping around you, Yursa, you notice that Hikari starts to get a little bit uppity and starts looking around, and her breathing starts to get a little bit faster. As you walk over there and kind of sit down next to her, she sees you and places her giant griffin's head into your lap. The weight almost kind of putting pressure on your legs. It's a little uncomfortable for you, but you're like, I'm pushing through, and this is my girl. So as she puts her head down and you start petting her, the vines start wrapping around the wings and the body. And Brienne, you can continue.
Yeah, they do, and they eventually get to those like the stubby, scarred wings, and they begin to wrap around what bits and pieces of flesh and bone are there, and they create these kind of like realistic wooden wings that sprout off. They're heavy. They cause, you know, the shoulder blades of Hikari to kind of droop down. They're definitely not meant for flying, and it takes about 9 minutes for the wings to be fully built out to their full wingspan, which is about 7.5, 8 feet. And they kind of weigh her down, and so you definitely feel the weight of Hikari like pressing down into your lap even harder as the wings get bigger and bigger. You can see she kind of strains and groans a bit from the discomfort of having that much weight on such a weak part of her body. But as the final word is spoken of the ritual, as Rian blows this collection of white petals from his hand onto Hikari, as it kind of like floats over her, those wooden wings, they turn this like bright pale green, and you can see Hikari like lift a bit, and the weight is lifted off of her back and off of her neck as she kind of begins to move and flex. As that ethereal green color fades, those stubby wings are replaced by these beautiful real wings, the feathers of brown and white with greens at the tips, with small bits of petal and flower and vine drooping off in different areas. As Rian finishes casting Find Greater Steed, allowing Hikari to be her true form now, having healed the scarring that was there. And I think it's safe to say that Hikari, as soon as the spell is done, is going to immediately like jump up and do like a little like donut in the air with the new wings. Rian is just gonna look at her very, very, very happy that she has her wings back finally after so long.
Yeah, you watch Hikari do the circle, and you see that Hikari, as this like cocoon of nature, kind of drops off of her as she's spinning around in the air. You can tell she is happy, and you watch her kind of get back onto the ship, and then immediately start running and dive off the front. And for a second, you're like, and then you see her just crest over top in this great speed over the ship and under, and kind of helixing around the ship, flying in front of the ship about 20 feet, and then making her way back. And as she lands, the wings gracefully go backwards, and she goes and kind of walks around you, Rian, and kind of her whole body encases around you like a circle, and she just kind of squeezes you tight and nuzzles you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He'll kind of scratch at the back of her head, and with his other hand, he'll sort of grip Yursa's hand tightly. Not say any words to her, but I think the squeezes are enough for her to hear 100 words of appreciation and thankfulness for her being there. That's it.
All right. At this moment, the ship continues forward, and you all feel it kind of way to the side. Lightning strikes in the distance. What are you all doing?
GAC has a group thing, but if people want to have individual things before then, if anyone has anything.
I too have group things.
I 3 have group things.
I'm group things. Yeah, go first.
Okay.
In there.
And is this the
Wait,
like
sorry,
day
I was muted. I do have individual stuff. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, I thought that was the 4. I thought you
Yeah, you
had
did
the
this. I thought it
fingers.
was I4 have.
I
good
did,
things.
and then I started talking, and I was muted. So
Oh.
it didn't really help, bridge the communication gap. So
Jack, is it the thing that you're wanting to do? The first thing is the thing we talked about, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Gak, you head off into a spot that you can find and start casting your spell. In the
Okay.
meantime, Gideon, who do you find first?
Rian, what's he doing on this our last road trip before the final battle?
Oh, right now he's on Hikari, and they're just coasting through the air near the airship.
Okay.
He let everybody know that he's scouting to make sure that none of the Demogorgon agents are like spying on them, but he's just having a good time. Every once in a while in the distance you hear, "Woohoo!"
That didn't get picked up at all.
Oh. Woohoo!
There you go.
I will say this because I don't think I described the airship before, just so you know the layout of it. The top is this flat platform where people can just hang out. There's a rail above it, and below it is kind of like a half Zeppelin balloon. And in between that Zeppelin balloon, there are staircases that lead down to these kind of galleon-like ship where the helm is, and underneath that is where there are rooms and things. So most of the ship is out in the open. There are a few rooms. So you have a galleon with a Zeppelin balloon on top. That's basically what you're looking at. So at Gideon, as you go from the deck and walk up the spiral staircases that lead up to the top deck, you can see Rian kind of flying around with Akari of Rian. You see Gideon look towards you and kind of wave your attention as you kind of fly down with Akari next to Gideon.
Yeah, and we'll kind of like an F-150 coming back onto the aircraft carrier. We're gonna land back down, and he'll kind of very smoothly dismount because he's got the decks for it. Yeah, he does a fucking kickflip or some shit off Akari. I don't know.
Nice.
He kickflips Akari.
Yeah, the Akari's about it. Yeah, they do a flip too. They kickflip off the ground. Anyway, so yeah, he gets off Akari and kind of pats her on the neck and says, "Yes, Gideon. What's going on?"
Seems like she's recovering well.
Yes, very, very, very well.
Do you have a few minutes?
He kind of looks up at the air. I think I can spare a few.
Gideon motions for you to follow. We have like quarters, right? Like there's somewhere we could go and just like take a nap if we wanted, I assume.
Yeah, in the bottom of the galleon.
Yeah, Gideon will take Rian down to his room, and he'll shut the door and take a seat. I was hoping for just a few minutes of your time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've really said. I don't think you have to me, at least. Once we finish with this Demogorgon business, what comes next for Rian Alvain?
That's something I've thought long and hard about. For one, I have a promise to Paylor that after all is said and done, I will go out into the world, and no matter how long it takes me, I'll find someone worthy to be his next champion. But that can't be my only purpose, so I think there is a void of power here on Ephira, and my family's home is the cause of its ruin. So I'd like to do what I can to repair this place, and I think lead it. If the people will allow it, of course.
And Ursa?
Well, it's strange, you know, you'd think after so many years and so many talks that speaking on subjects like that would get easier, but no, it's still so many butterflies. If it is possible, I think that I would very much love to spend the rest of my days with her and have a ceremony to, well, to make it official to gods and man, I suppose.
So you'll ask her to come with you then?
I don't think so, no. Yrsa's home is in Lunaria. And while she has a love for all things, I think that it would be unfair of me to even put her in that position.
Sorry, I need a quick second. I just realized my laptop's not plugged in. It might die soon. Give me a quick second. So sorry about this.
Of course. No,
Gideon freezes.
Gideon, hello? Gideon, is this another dream, Gideon?
As we pan from Gideon and Rian, we pan
I don't know
down
if this is the
to
time for
bottom
pranks,
of the
Gideon.
galleon. And then we pan back up because Gideon's back.
You didn't think it would take that long, did you?
I don't know, the camera did one of these.
No. Fake outs.
What just happened?
I don't know. Just
Anyway,
air current or something. I don't know. Science.
I think it would be unfair to put her in that position. I love her with all of my everything. And I know that no matter where I go, no matter how close or how far we are, that love will still be that strong. I'm not naive. I know a day will come where I've passed on and she still lives. And when that day comes, I like to think that even if I'm in the deepest realms of the Nine Hells or in the highest peaks of Celestia, that she'll still feel me present beside her.
Perhaps you know her better than I do, but I think she'd want you to ask and let her make that decision.
He just nods.
Gideon slides out a bag from under his bed and opens it up. As you may have noticed, I haven't made anything in a while. But I've been working on something. And he is going to pull out a potion. I wasn't sure if you want to describe it, John, or if you want me to do it.
You can do it.
Alright, cool. But yeah, basically, I should have had this note ready, but yeah, it's a bit one of Gideon's classic potion vials, but there's just like this swirling liquid with just like these like hints of like purple, blue, silver, that like it's all kind of like connecting into like this center, but they're never fully mixing. Like it's all one liquid, but it looks like it's like several different things kind of put together. But yeah, and there might be just like some occasional just like lights or like some you know, kind of like sparkle, just kind of like a magical energy that you can see. And Gideon will hold it out to Rian.
And what's this?
A potion that will get you more years if you want them. can't promise exactly how many, but more time to finish your work for the gods. More time to spend with the one you love. I don't think you're old, Rand, but I think you did lose too many years. This can at least get you some of them back.
You see, he takes a deep breath in, and he'll kind of tenderly grab the potion and look at it, and he'll just move in to hug you and say,
Gideon's like caught off guard, but not by the hug, just the suddenness of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he'll just, as he's, hugging, he'll say, "Thank you, Gideon."
You're welcome. This does count as your wedding gift, though, just for the record. I'm not going to tell you how expensive it was, but this cost a lot of money.
Yeah, Rian will pull back laughing and say, "Well, thank you. It is a very, very, very fine gift." And, I don't have a gift for you right now, but there was something I had been meaning to ask you now that we're getting close to the end of all this.
Okay.
I'd like to think I've grown to know you very well, Gideon, and, I've had the opportunity to paint with each one of our companions. For different reasons, for different purposes, but not with you yet. And there was a very specific reason why. Your mind is on a lot of things, always. And I knew that you couldn't find focus to paint, to give it the attention that it would need with all of this happening. So, provided we're up for it, the day after the Demogorgon is slain, wondering if you'd like to go painting with me.
I accept.
All right. Good. So you know that means that you can't go out there and go dying on me now, all right? You made a promise.
I could say the same to you.
All right. Then we'll hold each other up to it.
As we always have.
I think Rian will hug Gideon one more time. Now's the time for the touchy-feelies. We're at the end. He's gonna hug him.
Yeah, it's time.
And with that, Rian has nothing else.
Yeah, that was all Gideon had.
Okay.
Okay. Rian, do you stay up top or follow Gideon down?
I think Gideon would have, Rian would have stayed down. He would have gone to his cabin and he would have sort of watched the potion in his room. He just would have stared at it for a while.
You guys are at the bottom, underneath the galley. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. So as you leave Gideon's room, Basil, I know that I saw you in chat. You said you had something for Rian. As Rian's walking through and you're kind of looking for him, you see him in the hallway down at the bottom of the galleon.
She'll catch up to him and, "Hey, you, what you doing?"
I just got an exceptional gift from Gideon.
Oh, well, what is it?
It is a potion to extend my life. Should I choose to use it?
Well, I mean, I don't want to assume, but are you going to use it?
I don't know. If you would have asked me 20 minutes before he gave it to me, I would have said yes in a heartbeat. But now that the tools are in front of me, it's a strange thing, you know?
Well, what about it is making you hesitant?
I don't know. to me, I almost feel as though it could be a monkey's paw. You wish for so long to have more years, and when you finally get them, will they be as sweet as you wanted them to be? Will they be everything that you desired they would have been, or will you have wished that it could have ended when it was supposed to? I don't know. I most likely will, but it's strange.
If it helps you feel better at all, as someone who's had more years than I probably deserve, more lives than I probably deserve, I think every moment that you get is worth it. Had I not been given this much time, I would have never met Enid. I would have never met you or everybody else in this party. And I just have a feeling that this has been my best life. I don't know, but it's a weird feeling that I have. And even though I've all but forced my mother to make the decision to not bring me back for another round of life, I'm glad that she gave me the gift to at least have this one. Because it's always good to have more time, even if you don't know how much longer it is. But what the fuck do I know?
I think that it is a lovely sentiment, and one I will take to heart.
Just know that whatever you decide, we'll be here for it.
Well, yes, because as I understand it, you will also outlive me. So I think a few more years being able to spend with you, I think that sounds quite all right.
Years to spend without being on the run and fighting and just having more time to get to know you.
That does sound quite nice, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. I fun leeway, I guess. It's strange being the child of the Raven Queen and also being a cleric and being able to talk to the dead and come back to life. Anyway, I have all of a sudden gotten very existential within like 7 hours.
Understandable, all things considered.
Right. And now having you with this great gift that Gideon gave you, I think it's really important for me to really tell you how thankful I am to have you in my life. And I know I've said that before, and we've had so many different conversations, and all of them, I have been so genuine and sincere with me telling you how much I care for you. But with the possibility of impending doom or possible fortune and we all make it out alive and we get to live the rest of our lives super happy and haha, you know, I think now is probably the best time to just tell you that you're one of my favorite memories of this life. And I'm glad to have been able to have this relationship with you and know what it's like to have both parents who love you, kind of. I found my mother and I got a father. When the real ones don't work out, it can be found family too.
Well, part of me does not know what to say, and I don't know if I could find the proper words, but
That's okay.
I think it is, it is ill-fitting for me to say that I love you like a daughter, because that's not true.
Yeah.
It's not like. I love you, and you are my daughter. And although I have not lived for as many lifetimes as you have, I'm so thankful that in my one humble life, I was able to have you. And Rianne will hug her.
Oh.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, you make me very proud, because just off the cuff, you give such potent wisdom about the tool that was given to me by Gideon, and here I am debating whether or not to use it, and
Well, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer here. I think it is equally beautiful to accept the time that you have and accept time that can be given to you.
And that is how I know that in the past year I taught you very well. You speak such wise words, old Basil Alvain.
I sound like someone familiar. It's almost as if I'm becoming them.
Wait a minute, is that what I sound like?
Often, but it's very endearing.
Goodness. Oh, I can't believe I sound like that.
Well, you've talked a lot of people off the edge, so I think you're doing something right.
All right.
You can start talking like me, and I'll talk like you. Ready, go.
I'm Basil Alvain, and I put razor blades in my hair. No, that wasn't right. What was that accent? I don't know.
I don't know. I also don't announce that I have razor blades in my hair. I would call someone like, I'm Basil and you're cunt. Something like that.
I'm Basil and you're a cunt. Is that better?
Good. It's good. It's better. How did that feel?
Bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt bad hearing someone else say it.
Well, it was a good try.
It was a good try. Now,
I think we circle back in 20 years. I think that's what we should do.
I think that sounds good. 20 years when maybe we'll have an even bigger family. Whoever could be added along the way.
Well, was there anything else?
Why are you acting so awkward, Rianne? I don't know what's...
Am I acting awkward? I didn't think so.
Very. Do you feel uncomfortable around the insinuation of children? Yes, I will take
Basil, I have some introspection to go do, and some preparation beforehand.
As this conversation ends on an awkward note, Rianne,
wait, I genuinely want to know. Was it?
You half step backwards a couple times, Rianne, and I feel like it's a classic like, Oh, Yersa, did you say something and you kind of walk off?
Is it just because he'll feel old? Me as Rachel wants to know. Or is it?
Yeah, the old. I don't know. Having kids when you're close to 50 is also a little scary for him, and also, God, you got to think about what happened to the first one, right? Whew.
Okay, as we pan away from those two,
That's awfully funny.
where where's Enid at?
Sorry.
Enid is probably relaxing on the top deck or whatever, looking up at the sky, just trying to. Well, no, not the sky. The sky is scary right now, because Enid's probably. Top deck looking
at
out.
The sky.
What?
You could be looking at the sky.
I mean,
it's in the distance. The sky and where you're headed is pretty scary.
Okay, to the pretty part, looking back where we're not headed. That's what Enid's doing.
Okay. So Enid, as you are looking out into the distance, you look up towards the night sky, and you see the moon shining just ever so slightly through the dark clouds in the distance. And as you're looking at the moon, it almost seems to your vision focuses and hones in on the moon. Everything around you, the darkness fades, and it is light. And you find yourself in a bright white area with small craters around, almost like the surface. And for the first time in a while, with more power and more form, you see the goddess of the moon kind of float down and apparate in front of you as she says,
Enid, the time has come, and the darkness ahead will challenge everything you have prepared for.
You see that she steps closer towards you. This presence that is commanding, but Enid, you find comfort as she walks forward. The light around her pulses softly, casting this long, gentle shadows around.
I have given you gifts you will need, gifts of light and shadow. Now you must wield them with all the wisdom I know you possess.
And you can tell at this point there's this pride in her voice as she speaks to you, Enid.
Demogorgon's madness threatens to consume all, but you have the power to stand against it. The moon's light, though subtle, is a force that can cut through even the deepest darkness. When others falter, you must shine brightest. You will be the beacon they need, the light that guides them through the night. You, Enid, are my champion. I have watched you grow, and I am proud to call you such. Not only have you proven your worth time and time again, but you have also shown a strength of spirit that sets you apart. It is not just my power you wield, it is your own strength, your cunning, and your resolve that will make the difference in this fight. In this battle, the moon's power is not only yours, but those you fight beside. Lead them with wisdom, guide them through the shadows. Your cunning and strength and the blessings I have bestowed will be your greatest tools. The path may not always be clear, but know this, you are never alone. You will find yourself lost in a darkness, and the way forward seems impossible. Look to the sky. When the sky is darkest, look towards the moon, and I will send my aid. My gaze will never leave you, Enid. You are my champion, and I will not abandon you when you need me most.
You see that the light shifts in the room, and as Sahanin's form starts to fade and this presence still lingers, you hear final words before your consciousness comes back.
On this dark night, remember that it is the moon that shines brightest. You are the moon in this battle, Enid. Now go forth and be that light.
And in an instant, you feel shunted back onto the airship. And there's this, as the wind hits your face, you look up and you can see the moon in full view as it starts to slowly fade from white to this bright blue, a darker blue, and then a deep purple. Sahanin's eyes shine upon you and the party. Your god is watching.
Yeah, I think after having that experience, she will just like kind of stay in the glow of the moonlight and like take in what those words mean. Finally feeling like that little hero she wanted to be when she was younger, and feeling proud that she's here today and able to do something and make something in the world. And after, I guess, almost like a moment of meditation and somewhat prayer in the moonlight, she will go to find her friends, because she wouldn't be here without them. She wouldn't be the champion without them.
As you stand up and start to head down, you look one last time at the moon. You feel the boon that was given to you by Sahanin radiate within you. Your daggers radiate. You feel the blessing. And as you walk down to find your party, we move to Gak. Gak, you are beneath the galleon, and all of you who eventually make your way down to the bottom hear this noise come from Gak's room. This, as there's this very slight pushing of wind and dust out from beneath his door. All of you kind of look over towards Gak's door. Gak, you kind of stand up, kind of brush your hands off as the party opens the door. You turn around. What do they see?
So in the middle of Gak's room, you see him. He turns around to see you guys if you walk in, but he is standing in front of a glimmering, purplish, bluish rectangle, just standing in front of him. And he turns around and he's like,
"Oh, hey guys, I was just about to come and get you. I think I've been able to do this for a while, and I just haven't had time to do it. You guys want to come in?
Through the
Is
portal?
it a doorway?
Yeah, it's a door.
Where does it go?
It's really cool on the other side.
You know what? I'll
Okay.
just be surprised, and Kane's just gonna walk through.
Yours will go inside too.
and Gak will yell to some of the crew members. He'll like stick his head out the door and be like,
If you guys need us, come into my door and go through the big purple square thing."
the dwarven man kind of doubles back a little bit, looks in the door. All right, see you later. And he just
Bye.
as the door opens, it makes no sound because it is an arcane door. But Gak, you will it to sound like a door. So as it opens, you hear. You probably didn't hear that. Probably cut it out. But you hear a door open. Yeah. And this loud, bassy sound like a door hitting the side of a wall, but it's like very, very overdone. And you look inside. As you walk inside, Gak, would you like to describe Gak's magnificent mansion?
Yeah. So, as you guys walk in, you see what looks almost, it's a little bit like a very old library and a little bit like a cathedral. It's a very, very tall building with ornate concrete shelving and all this stuff, kind of like the Temple of Ayun that we went to. Inside there You see things that are similar to like the steps that he had created, that he had given to Enid as a spell, and they kind of work as elevators that take you to different levels, and you can hop on one and it'll take you wherever you want to go. And he's just kind of standing. Everyone's walking in on one of these little balconies over here on the side, and he's like, "Wow."
This
never-
is incredible. You've been working on this?
Yeah, I think that in the future it would be easier to do, but the first time I had a lot to make sure it was working.
Wow. It's beautiful, Gak. It's stunning.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I mean, can I move in? This is wow.
I don't think it'll last that long. You can move in if you want to keep moving out and then back in.
Yeah, used to that.
But what's stopping us from making our house look like this? You know what I mean? It's just we just gotta use our imagination.
At this moment, all of you on the central platform hear this as a translucent arcane elevator just pulls up to the platform, and you can hear them kind of whizzing around in the distance, just kind of like a cyberpunk cityscape of cars driving back and forth, but it's these like hums of elevators.
I told him to look busy. There's no one up there.
They're doing a great job.
You guys want to hop on?
I'll take a ride.
Sure.
Cool, I got more stuff to show you.
Okay. As you all hop on, and you think that you're gonna have to kind of hold on to something. There's nothing to hold on to, but it seems like the arcane elevator just kind of keeps you in place. You don't feel anything kind of like move you forward, like momentum, and you just kind of glide forward. Gak, where are they going?
So the elevator starts to kind of like weave in between different elevators and through different archways. And as we go down this hallway, we end up in a bigger kind of chamber. And in that chamber, there is a table with a handful of seats around it. And there are 100 arcane servants that are standing next to the table, all wearing the same outfit, which is a cloak that looks like Gak's. And they're all holding trays with food and drink.
Some of them walk over immediately. They don't talk, do they, Gak?
No.
Yeah, they just... Are they kind of like unseen servants?
I think that's what the spell says. Like, yeah, it says you
They're
can
like-
decide their visual appearance.
Yeah, they're like translucent arcane people, like the elevators, but have like a full-on rendered, high-detailed version of Gak's cloak on them as they walk over and just like put food in all of your faces, just like they were told to give food. So just like, here's food to all of you, and kind of have to like... Gak, what else do they see in this room?
In the room, it's mostly just those kind of things. There are some dancing lights that are hanging around and stuff like that. And next to the door that they walked in, there's another door. And if you guys peek in there, you see a circle of easels and paint that are set up. And Gak kind of points over there, and he's like,
I was thinking that after we have food, we could go over and we could all paint some stuff if that was something we wanted to do.
and he'll kind of look at Rianne and give her a thumbs up and smile.
Yeah, Rian would definitely return it.
I think that's a wonderful idea, Gak.
So, yeah, let's have some food. Basil, would you be able to remember that spell that we had in the sauna?
Oh.
Boil
yeah.
water?
No, I can do
When-
that one.
When we were all naked, yes, we ate food.
Yeah, do you think you could cast that and then it would like
I don't
make
think
our
I was
food
there
better?
for that dinner.
Neither was
Oh,
I.
yeah, we were. Oh, that's right. We were all naked in a sauna, and we ate a beautiful feast, and then we stayed naked for a while after.
Yeah, it was like a magical feast
It was a great experience, but yes, Gak, I can make us some lovely food.
You don't need to make a bunch. I have a bunch of others as well, but just a little.
Basil. Oh, where the fuck? I mean, okay. Where is it?
The 6th level
Not
spell.
falling. That's what I thought.
Do you have it prepped?
Hero's Feast. I can upcast it. JK, I cannot.
Yeah, it's not an upcast spell. I will also say that you have a gem encrusted bowl worth 1,000 gold. Just mark 1,000 gold off of your. I mean, at this point, it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't fucking matter at all, actually. Here, I'll do you one better. 2,000. Still won't matter.
Damn.
Two chalices. You place 2 chalices, one to just stay there the whole time. So as in front of you, a table kind of appears as you start to prepare Hero's Feast. And I'll ask Basil, as you cast the spell, and all of you watch Basil cast the spell, what's on the menu? What's the feast?
Oh god, I had to think of that.
I can think of it if you want. I was just,
I mean,
it's just ravens. There's just
that would be fucking wild.
Yursa would love that.
No, I didn't mean to roll it. I meant to just display. I just want to display. Okay. I don't know, maybe soup? There's probably some bread in there, some salads. What would be considered a really good fucking feast in these parts?
Just all the food from Olive Garden.
I will say, as you cast the spell and you watch the gem encrusted bowl start to shake and rattle, as it does, small bits of food pop out of it at one at a time, almost like popcorn. And they perfectly place themselves on the table. And as this is happening, this cloth from underneath is starting to magically unroll. So as it's unrolling underneath the gem-encrusted cup, these pieces of food are just placing themselves on there. And like popcorn, they continue to pop and place on there. You have turkey, a full boar, and a massive bowl of salad and fruits and veggies. And even there is a small section that gets popped out that is cactus from when you were in the desert. You have
cactus juice.
Oh my god, what was it? Durian fruit pops out from when you were in northern Syria. And there are different accoutrements and different foods from each one of the places that you have eaten at some point in your journey. And in front of you is a hero's feast.
With apple pie.
With apple pie.
Thank
Except
you.
the wine from Kyrion's party. That's not here.
That is okay.
Well, we were able to cleanse that.
All right.
Just remember the recipe.
Every food we've ever seen.
Ever.
It's also seasoned.
Yeah.
It's not no bitch feast. It's hero's feast.
That's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Gideon helps himself to a churro.
That is there. That is there.
That is there.
That's why I didn't ask.
Damn it. That could have been so funny if I said it. Anyway, so if you...
It sure would have been.
Wait.
I missed the opportunity. Thanks, Ryan.
I wish I said that joke.
So, as you all sit down around the feast and start to partake, you have this moment. All of you in one place. You can converse amongst yourself before you start going to paint.
Yours has a thing. Yeah, I guess as dinner progresses and starts to slow down, she would stand up and she would kind of pull out of a little bag and she has little baggies within the little bag. And she says, okay, in between all of the crazy and the madness, I've been working on a very special project, and I think now is the best time to give everyone a very special gift. And she's gonna go around and she's gonna hand everyone a little baggie. I don't know what's going to happen in the next few hours, the next few days. The last leg of our journey has already been intense, to say the least, and well, as we get ready to do whatever it is we're going to do, I just wanted to give you all something to say thank you. To thank you for just being my friend, for showing me the rest of the world, and even though not everything was great and not everybody was nice and as loving and as caring as all of you are, I learned a lot. And I think if it wasn't for this journey, I wouldn't be who I am right now. And I've never had friends like this before, and it feels very good to know that you all are my friends and you all love me for who I am. So if you open your bag, and when you open it, inside it is like a little charm that you'll put on your friendship bracelets that Yrsa has already given everybody. And the charm is a butterfly, but one wing is a pretty butterfly wing, and then the other one is a moth wing. So I made one for everyone to remember that it's okay to be both a butterfly and a moth. And she looks at Gak and smiles really big. And sometimes, even though we need to have these big, beautiful wings to fly, we'll always know we have a safe place to land with each other. And then she'll sit back down.
Yosa, I feel awful. I have nothing for you.
Oh no, this was not a gift exchange. I'm sorry. This was just a gift exchange from me to you.
Well, I hope you know that your sentiment, yes, it's the same way I feel about you, but I don't have anything.
Your friendship and you being here is more than enough.
Basil would get up and hug Yrsa.
Oh, she hugged back.
Thank you, Yrsa. These are beautiful.
You're very welcome. Like I said, I don't know what's going to happen afterwards, and I don't know where everyone wants to go, and I just hope that when you look down and you see something like that, you'll remember all of the wonderful memories we've had together and remember each other.
Well, we're all still gonna be seeing each other after this.
Absolutely. There just might be long times in between.
I don't know about that. I don't think that's very acceptable.
We have so many modes of transportation. We can get to each other.
That is very true.
We can have dinners in the mansion.
We could.
A weekly dinner sounds lovely.
Mm-hmm.
A game night every Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, this
Like
is
different
great.
things. We could, have a garden party and painting parties, paint and sips.
I like this idea.
Yay.
Anyway. As the feast ends, the feast kind of slowly dissipates into nothingness. All of you can, Basil, you can go ahead and roll 2d10. And also for the next 24 hours, every creature that has partaken in this feast is cured of all diseases and poison, becomes immune to poison and being frightened, and makes all wisdom saves. Fuck you, Nick. All wisdom saves, saving throws with advantage.
I will need to be reminded of all of this. Thank you.
Don't ask me to remind you. I'm gonna forget.
Or written out. Or written out and sent to me.
And also,
You have
everyone's
to
hit point
spell?
maximum increases by 16.
Woo!
And we get those hit points as well, right?
Yep, you
And
can
that's
go
not-
into your.
Yeah, and that's not temp. That's fully override max HP.
Yep. Just go and click your HP on your character sheet. Go to override max HP and increase your max HP by 16.
Amazing.
Exciting.
Wait, override max.
Yep. So override max just 141. Add 16 to that and put that number in there.
Okay.
So this is wild. Because for level 16, Gideon increased his con by 2. And then with his Hero's Feast, he has over 150 HP as a sorcerer, which is wild.
That's crazy, actually.
Yep, it's
That's
crazy.
amazing.
You know
Jack
that's
has
like
111.
you know that's around like 2.5 disintegrates.
That's weird that you know that off the top of your head. But yeah,
Is it weird? I feel like
Kinda,
that spell's
kind of.
become a staple around here. I just gotta know that. So,
John, that's how John balances all of his encounters. How many disintegrates do I want this creature to take? 1 or 12?
Look, you might be onto something. Can they take 12? So as you all finish up the feast, Gak, I assume you're going to start ushering them towards the canvas room.
Mm-hmm.
So all of you walk into the room filled with canvases and paint, and all of you sit down. And Gak, what's the subject of painting? There is a empty in the center. There's an empty table that you know that you could think of anything that you want, and it will appear there, and you can start painting.
So if anyone needs any extra paints, let me know. I will think about them, and they will appear. And if what does everyone want to paint?
I think it would be very fun if we paint each other.
Like
That could be fun.
the whole group of us, or each one of us gets somebody.
I think each one of us should paint somebody else, and then when we put them all together, it'll be like a group portrait.
I call painting Basil.
Well, no.
painting Enid.
That is not fair. We're gonna pull names out of a hat. It's got to be random.
You can't paint the person you want to paint because that's unfair.
Exactly.
Well, what if
Gideon-
I want to paint everybody?
Well,
Let's
then
use Gideon's hat.
You get it random.
Yep, Gideon offers his hat.
All right, everybody, write your
Jack's
name
gonna
down.
Think about papers.
Oh.
With
Gideon, you see the papers just appear in there, all folded up inside. You look in, and you shake the hat.
Yep.
How many of you? 6?
Yep.
All right. Gideon, I guess you're gonna pick first since it's your hat.
Sick.
All right, hold on.
I'm assuming
We're
I'm
gonna do a
rolling
thing.
D6.
Yeah, hold on. Just give me 1 second.
You gotta
Sounds
make all
like
of us numbers.
I have to invent. Yeah.
I literally am.
I got to create a module that will do this for me.
Redraw if
Yeah,
you
it
get
should.
yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yes. All right, there we go. Roll a d6, Gideon. Gideon gets
I
Gak.
get Gak.
All right. You pass the hat to Gak, who is next, who was picked. Gak,
Okay.
roll a d6.
I'll roll a d5.
No.
I get
You got
Gideon.
The pass the hat to the one you got doesn't work in this scenario, so you give it to Rian. Rian, go ahead and roll a d6.
Gak hands it back again, just like, what?
Well, that's what you did to me.
Oh.
Rian gets Basil.
Basil. Yeah, take that, Enid.
Yeah.
Basil,
Yeah.
roll a d6. Oh wait, hold on. Actually, roll a. Was it 3 people left? Roll a d3.
T3.
D3?
Yep. Rian, Enid, and Yursa. So
And
1, 2, or
wait.
3.
Just type in slash R space 1D3.
I probably should have done this with the D4.
Backward slash or forward?
/R and then space 1D3.
1D3.
2. You get Enid. And then Yursa. Oh wait, no, Enid and Yursa need to pick. So Enid, go ahead and roll a D2.
Well, wouldn't they just
So it's either
paint each other?
No, because Rianne and Yursa are available to be painted.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Enid and Yursa have yet to do. Well, then
okay.
Then that would mean that
Yursa can't paint herself.
So Yursa would have to paint Rianne.
Okay,
And
then
you
I'm
have to
painting
paint
Yursa.
All right.
And
Yay!
just I fucked up
We
the
figured
roll.
it out.
Who am I painting?
Rianne.
Rianne, okay.
Does everyone remember who you're painting? Because I don't.
I'm making a pit crew right now.
Okay.
I'm on my journey.
So
I'm actually
all of
going to
you-
paint it, so let's wait.
See y'all in 8 hours.
So, all of you sit there painting as in front of the table, Gak, you imagine the party in their best poses as you all start painting.
Yeah. So, as we're painting, Rianne is going to be, doing his thing in his zone, pulling the Bob Ross, beating the devil out of the brush, so every once in a while there's just a noise. But then as he's painting, he's going to kind of stop it. He's going to say, I am reminded now of a moment that I don't know if anybody else remembers. Enid, I know you wouldn't because sadly you weren't there at that time, but it was back first when we left Hombefort. It was the first night we camped together. We were all sitting around a campfire eating some stew, and we were just sitting in silence. And so I asked everyone, "What's your favorite color?" just to break the ice, just to get us talking about something. And yeah, I think now about how much how many memories we all have together and everything we've been through. And well, there's a little tradition. It was a New Year's celebration in Nubai, which Enid, you might have been old enough to remember, but
I remember, yeah.
It pretty much it was meant to reflect on the year. Instead of looking forward and making resolutions like many of the people in Aphira do, we would celebrate the past. We would revel in the great victories and remember the lessons we learned. And, well, I know that it's not the end of the year, but if all of you would humor me, I think it might be fun to for all of us to talk about something we remember fondly. Or just something we remember someone always being there for. I remember so specifically with Gideon. The first few times that we ever interacted, I remember there being such it was so tense. So we were opposite ends of the spectrum when we first met. At least that's what we thought. And I remember it almost reached a boiling point with with Lot, which in all reality seems like such a small moment now. And the thing is that I appreciate so much about those moments is that I didn't value at the time is that one of my favorite things, Gideon, about
you in regards to that and who you've always been is that you are unafraid to advocate for what you think is the most logical path. And for someone like me that, at least especially at that time, led with his emotions too much, I'm just very appreciative of, and I'm glad that never changed.
I didn't think we were going to work as a group after Lot.
I don't blame you for that, honestly.
It's amazing what fighting a group of vampires will do for morale, though.
Wasn't there a time also, and maybe Gideon, Basil, you can speak on this, the exploding mansion, the two of you escaping?
Oh, that was a great moment. I have never thrown two grown men out a window before. Did I not tell you?
I don't... My memory's foggy on the matter.
Yeah, we were running, and I don't know what was going on with them, so I broke a window and threw them out. We were in the kitchens, I think.
I mean, we were so busy looking for a door, because it's
That-
in a building usually.
Gideon was screaming at me the whole time, too. What were you saying, Gideon?
Your name, mainly.
You know,
In
I've
my
never heard this story before, but all of this sounds so likely.
I mean, in my defense, I was panicking because I had turned Kyrian into a giant sludge monster by mistake.
That's true. Right. Ah,
interesting.
Enid, you're just learning a bunch of lore.
Oh, Enid, do you remember when we went to Basil's house and there was everything, wrong with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Basil had a mason jar full of the dirt from her place, and I was, trying to do some tests on it. And I was captured by this vampire, and, he confronted me, and so I smashed the jar into his face, and he, huffed in a lot of that dirt. And, yeah, he turned into this black sludge, but, you could still see his, skull and, spinal cord in there, and he could still, talk and make noise. It was very disturbing, actually. I felt
It was.
almost guilty about that.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, burning that place to the ground was the right decision.
Was the
morally.
right decision. Huh.
Indeed. I knew none of that.
Do you remember that when we left Woolbrook and we were in that creepy area and
The raised road, yes, yeah.
the raised road?
The spirit spoke to us from...
Yeah, the spirits were trying to lure us off the path so that it could, what would, eat us or something? Destroy our souls or something
like that. Combination of those things, yes.
And I think at least majority, if not all of us, were going through some sort of crisis that same night.
Mm-hmm. We
Crazy
were.
times.
Do you remember the time I was an octopus? And we went on a heist?
I do remember that.
I only
had
got
to
to
hide
see
it.
it for a few seconds.
I was hiding in a suit of armor for quite some time, but it was very fun.
Thank you guys again for that.
Oh yeah,
Of
I'd
course.
do it anytime.
In fact, I think that's the one thing we could have done more of was prison breaks. I have to admit, I am a little upset at you, Enid. When we were at the Ashparan Archipelago, you so deftly made your way in and out, which I am so incredibly impressed with your skill and dexterity and stealth. But I mean, come on, you couldn't have gotten caught and left something for us to do? I mean,
If you guys would have kept up, it was an invitation to join.
Oh.
You
kids.
You should have known there wasn't going to be any issue. I mean, think back to when we first met Enid, and she stuck aboard the ship that Basil's father was on.
That's true.
Didn't leave
Yeah.
a trace of the fact that she was on there.
That's very true.
Pro work, Enid, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, Enid, I thought you didn't like me for the longest time.
What?
Same.
Well, you're very standoffish at first.
Yeah, upon our first encounter, I guess third encounter really, I wasn't sure if we were gonna work out, you know?
Well, that one makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really, I thought Enid and I hit it off immediately.
That explains a lot, actually. Yeah.
We did, actually. I thought we all hit it off.
We did. After you started to like us.
Mm-hmm.
I liked all of you.
Well,
It was
I
really
don't
hard
think
to
that's
tell,
true.
Gia.
I think, Enid, that it was nice that we could help you lower your walls a little bit.
Yeah.
It wasn't a not liking. It was a didn't know if you should trust or not. But I'm glad that you were able to come to trust us.
Gideon shrugs at Enid like, I don't know what they're talking about, bestie.
I mean, when I first met you, Yrsa, you were quite thorny. So
Oh
my
yeah.
first impression was a little strong from you as well. But I felt at home with you. And our first conversation also regarded these moth and butterflies.
Yeah, you're right. I think that was definitely a growing period for me as well. And I'm sorry that that was the first time you had to see me.
No, like I said, I think I learned a lot from you going through that. And I'm sorry you had to go through that, but it helped me.
I think it was important that I went through it as well. And I'm glad I got to help you.
You were so incredibly strong, Yrsa. And apparently God level strong as well. Freezing entire portals to other places and stopping the volcano from erupting and whatever else you can do, apparently.
I feel like I'm figuring new things out every day.
Aren't
I
we
think
all?
It's all secondary to your truest strength, your ability to see people for not only who they are, but what they can be. I think there's a lot of people that, without you, their fates probably wouldn't have been as happy as they were,
Thank you.
including people in this room.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that, and you know, I appreciate all of you allowing me to take the risk that got me to this point, especially with Oberyn. I know that was a lot to ask from everyone, and I know that put a lot of strain on all of us in different ways, but I wouldn't have changed a thing, and I think it really helped me figure out who I am, and kind of like looks at Enid, and I think that it helped others too, and a strange domino effect. So thank you all again for trusting me.
You're easy to trust. And you look beautiful. Here, I think I am done with your painting.
Oh, she's so cute. You're just literally crying.
Oh, Enid will give her a hug.
It's just so beautiful. You did such a good job.
Oh, thank you. I mean, you don't really have that kind of tattoo. I just thought it looked nice, you know, with the butterfly.
Oh, but what
thing.
if I did? Now I'm inspired.
You could. It would look really nice there too. So
thank you.
Rian, as you are painting, you kind of look over at Enid's painting, and it's really good, and your hand is still going on and trying to finish the painting. And at this moment, there is a loud like boom behind your ear, and a grasp on your shoulders as you kind of get startled for a half a second, and the paintbrush kind of goes across. You see Gak looking at you with a large smile, and an unseen servant behind you who's just going like this.
You got pranked, Rian.
You know what, Gak?
Darcy's
clapping.
This is the best prank you've ever made. Because it so unwittingly played in to what is going to be one of the best paintings I've ever made. Because it calls back on a previous one I've made. So yeah, who's really the pranker here? Yeah.
That's awesome. I think the chicken thing I did was the best, but I'm glad you like this one.
All right. Well, I'm not done yet. I need more time.
Chicken one.
Bouncing
That
servant
was
continues until Gak says otherwise. It's just
Do you remember when we were
Gak
all
will forget,
chickens?
and then he'll be like, "Oh yeah, you can go."
Oh yes,
Thank you.
Yrsa. We were chickens. I
Oh,
remember
we
that.
all were, and it was wonderful. We were a big old chicken family.
Yeah, yours and me as chickens that one time. That's pretty cool.
Who started
Gak.
the prank stuff? Oh, sorry.
I think it was Gak. Right?
I don't know if we can point fingers at who started what,
I mean, we can.
Okay.
but I don't know if we can.
Okay.
So it was Gak.
Yeah. It was Gak.
I know I named it.
Gak, do you remember when we convinced those two guards outside of the library to let us in
Yeah,
when we were in the Astral Sea?
yeah. They, I feel bad for them a little bit. Because they just kind of,
Yeah,
they didn't know
they
what
would-
was happening at all.
They were doing their job.
Yeah.
I also feel really bad to that man I accidentally killed along the way.
Yeah, that probably sucks the most.
Huh?
Huh?
Did we not tell you? When we're in the Astral Sea, when Gak and I were going our separate ways from you guys, these two men wouldn't leave us alone, so I accidentally, I don't know how it happened. I meant to just punch him.
He was very weak. He was probably gonna die soon anyway.
He was young, but that's also still a possibility. Yeah, I accidentally just outright murdered him
Yeah.
inside of a whole market square. I'm surprised.
You know, I can't judge because I did the same thing to that little imp thing when we were in the city of clouds. Yep.
Yeah.
An imp and a person are not the same thing.
I don't
That
know
is
if that's
true.
true. Yrsa, what do you think about that?
I'm going to keep painting.
I think all living creatures matter, Gideon.
I do too.
So, so Gideon's been giving me lessons, and I wrote something, guys. So here, feel free to read it. And it is a essay about her journeys with the party at a, I would say, middle school level.
Oh.
But words are spelled correctly.
Most of the words are spelled correctly.
I believe you. And I think
Oh.
it's really cool.
That's right. You know what, Gideon? Why don't you teach Gak next?
If Gak would like me to, we can have that conversation.
Sure, if we have time.
Yeah, well said.
Also, does anyone know what year it is?
Yes, of course, it's John.
Let me refer to my notes.
It's the year of
No.
our Lord and Savior, Gak.
I think it's over here. General lore. Nope.
I think it's 860 PD. I think that's what showed up when I popped up on the.
Yes, the year of the rat, of course.
Yeah, that's my year.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
Nice.
If someone tells Gak what year it is, I think it's 860 PD.
It is. It is. Yeah. It is 8:59 PD.
8:59. So he'll say that out loud, and the numbers will like appear in front of him, and then he'll be looking at them back and forth, and writing them onto his canvas.
Thank you.
Oh. So I'm excited to see that.
Okay, I'm done with my painting of Gideon.
Let's see it.
Yeah.
I have to export it real quick.
Well, before you show everyone, I would just like to say that I'm also very proud of Gideon and him overcoming the nightmares and the creature of Ishna. We know how hard that was for you, and a lot of us here understand what it means to lose family. And I'm just happy that you were able to find another family amongst us. And I think that, Gideon, you have found that color that we talked about so long ago, and you can see all the different shades in the world now. And I'm just so happy to have been a part of that.
No. Thank you. It was just... I wouldn't have been able to do it without all of you.
That was also really inspiring for me. I was carrying a lot with me too, and seeing how you handled that situation and everything you've gone through made me want to do the same thing.
Do you feel like you have?
I do.
I'm happy I was able to help.
Another thing that helped with that was that song you played, Rianne, after maybe I made a not so welcoming hello to you that one night. I hadn't heard it in a long time, and I don't know, just felt like home, and I wasn't expecting it.
For many years, it was a great deal of comfort for me also. So in that moment, I'm glad it gave you comfort.
This is a wonderful picture, Gak.
Yeah, here's my picture of Gideon.
Stunning, really.
It's really good. He's
Thank
very
you.
green.
I think I captured your eyes.
Yeah, you really did. I think you got my smile pretty well, too.
Thank you.
Yep, there it is.
I know you don't wear that much green, but...
I was about to say, I don't know if I own a green suit. I look like the Riddler.
Or
That's
a little
kinda how I
leprechaun.
see you.
Oh, didn't think about that.
I just look at you and I see a lot of green.
Alright, I'll bite Gak. Why?
That's a great question. I'll get back to you on that.
Inside check. Will Gak get back to me on that?
So I cheated, and I used Mid-Journey to make mine. So,
Oh, I'm excited
I
to
mean,
see it.
yours is the one who started the painting, wasn't it?
Yeah, the painting should be. Ooh.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
There's Rianne.
Ursa turns the painting after Gak
Oh
does it.
Enid turns hers back down. So you can see it.
Holy shit.
I don't know if it's quite right, but I did my best.
It
Yours
looks
is a lot of green,
amazing.
too.
It looks great.
Thank you.
There's
Oh,
a
now
lot of
I'm
green
not
on it
feeling
as well. I
confident
like
about
this.
mine.
Just about to say that. It looks more like me, I think.
The green.
It's the green.
Yeah, it's the green.
I think green is a great color on everyone here.
Yeah, I think half of you guys I think of as green.
I don't wear any green.
You're not in that half.
Yeah, you did say half. I don't...
You're purple.
Yeah, that one tracks.
Dabba dee.
Yeah. Rian, Gideon, and Ursa, you're all three different types of green.
I like that.
Those two I actually get why they're green though.
Yeah, but you're green too.
Why? Explain it to me.
More teal?
Because
Are you saying more like a not as like a forest green, but like a aqua?
no,
Okay, I got nothing.
like a bright green.
Like the Great Gatsby? Like what are we talking about?
I don't
Gideon,
know what
because
that is.
you are just so bright. It's a feeling thing. I understand, Gak.
Yeah, I do think part of it comes from when we first met. You had like blue green on your face, and I could tell the color of like all of us had colors. So that was a very distinct color of you, and I felt like your outfit always worked really well with it.
Thanks.
So I think I just see the aura. I think that's what was coming out of you, and that's what's inside. Those colors. And that's why they're also in your eyes.
Interesting. I like that though.
Gak, you need to add your last name to your painting, to your signature at least.
I don't know how to write it.
Well, let's see. Salah has an S and an L. So if we, and I'm gonna say we like edit to give him arms. One of them's a squiggly S. The O is like a double O in the middle of the A, and then LA at the end. Is the other arm. That's, you know what? Give him boobs. That's not what I meant, but sure. I tried to make a cute moment. Fuck it. Forget the moment we became family. I don't want it anymore.
No, I like it.
That'll show you.
I'll give it back to you, Gideon, once I figure out how to do the name.
Sounds good.
Do you guys remember when Gideon and I made a book?
Yes, I love that book.
Things have been a little busy, so we haven't had time to make more of it.
We have a pretty good outline of what we want to do with the rest of it, though, so
yeah,
when things finally calm down, I think we can just go through it.
That'll be exciting.
Gak will pull out the book and he'll open it up to the front page that says Gak and Gideon's Guide to Adventuring Volume 1, written by, and then he'll look at his last name and he'll start to copy it.
Oh. Cute.
Cute.
And then he'll show it to Enid and be like, this is it.
Yes, perfect. I love the pictures. I love this book. Enid will lean over to Basil and say, "You're a little quiet, love."
I'm not as good at drawing as I thought I was.
Well, let me see what you have so far.
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. I'm
So,
sure it looks great.
In a second. It needs to be perfect.
Look, it doesn't need to be perfect. I'm sure it's gonna be lovely, though.
Well, thank you. I will show you in a second.
By the way, while everyone's been painting, Gideon twin cast telekinesis, and that's how he's moving the brushes. He's not actually like doing it himself. He's using his magic. What do you mean? What do you mean?
That's funny.
He's so cool.
He's using his magic to help him out. Gideon doesn't have a steady hand. Kidding. He has a super steady hand. But...
I was gonna say he should.
Makes things.
But I shoot with this hand.
That's my shooting hand.
Who is Gideon painting?
Yak.
Yours is gonna add a dollop of blue on Gideon's paper. With her hand. Just thought you needed a little bit more color.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Brushes pick up the blue and try to work it in.
Okay.
I'm still curious, Gak. If you had to name how you do your magic, have you given it a name yet? Because no one casts magic like you do.
You'll see Gat kind of thinking for a bit.
I guess I can think of it. I think I cast it with my imagination. If that makes sense. Like, I was told that wizards all do, like, book stuff. And I have a book, but I feel like I don't know. When you guys hear the word apple, what do you think of in your head?
A red apple.
And a green apple, but yeah.
Oh, green, huh?
A whole tree
That's interesting.
with lots of apples on it.
Yeah, like we all see something different, and I think wizards have their book and they like read stuff and they cast a spell from what they read it. But I feel like I have that in my head, and I have all the things I know how to do in my head, and I can just like pick one.
I think it's just fascinating. I've looked at your book numerous times. I've watched you cast your spells and in battle numerous times. And I think the way you cast magic is something that is beyond me to understand. And that excites me.
Well, we'll get there.
I'm finally done.
Show us.
Okay, no one laugh. I tried really hard.
That'd be great.
Oh, that's cute.
Really?
I like it. Yeah.
Wait, where is it?
Yeah, wait, where is it?
In the Evrand
putting
chat.
it-
Oh, she's cute!
That's really cute.
I love it.
Princess.
She looks like she belongs at Powerpuff Girls. I love
Yeah. Aww.
And I added the pink because of me.
Yes, I love.
And
it.
the hearts because I love you.
Oh, thank
And
you.
I don't know what
Oh.
animal print this is. I don't think we have any of these.
No, it's unique. I like it.
It's beautiful.
Picasso.
Basil.
See,
Thank
very-
you.
you're
very
using your
cute.
imagination.
I should
Thank
go
you.
shopping with you guys and buy a top like that and see if
Yeah.
my style.
I think
We could
Basil just
try.
created zebra print in the world.
Basil is Lisa Frank.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yes.
Are my eyelashes as chunky as that normally?
Oh. No.
They're cute.
It's what I see when I look at you.
Yeah, it's like how Gideon's green.
Okay, I get it now. Also, Rianne, remember that random training sessions you would have for me and Basil when I first joined? It seemed like you had an ulterior motive than just teaching us.
He did. He absolutely did.
He told you? Oh my god.
No, but I just know.
Oh. Anything to say to that?
Yeah, no, I knew you two would be a good match, and I thought otherwise. No. You might try and avoid it, you might try and deny it, but if you were forced to be in physical contact, well, there was no avoiding it. Gideon, get your mind out of the gutter. It's training.
You said it that way.
Also, Yeah, it wouldn't be like any of us to avoid contact for relationships or anything like that.
I think
Is that
that's
directed
funny,
at me
Jack.
or Rian?
He's looking directly at Rian.
All
Right. Then that'd be directed at you. Oh, the no hugs thing. That's right.
Yeah.
It's not directed at me.
Well, we do know that, hun.
All right. I'm finished. He'll wet the brush and he'll beat the devil out of it. Clean it off. All right. So, before he kind of pulls it close so nobody can see it. Before I show this, I have another memory I wish to share. I'd like to take all of you back long before our adventure truly took off, back in Hamba Fort, after Eldar had been interred in prison. Basil, you and I, after everything, after our near-death experience, we went to that Dryad Grove, and we painted there.
That's right.
And if you'll recall, you were feeling like you were doing pretty all right with your painting, and then I,
As usual,
ever so cruelly, put one large black splatter of paint, this large black mark across the center
I
of it,
remember that. Yes.
to teach a lesson. The lesson specifically eludes me, but I remember I did it. I think it was that even if something is imperfect, it can still be good. It was something along those lines. Anyway, so thank you, Gak, for making my painting imperfect so it could truly be great.
No problemo.
As he turns it around, and Rian's also a good painter, as I also used Midjourney and a little bit of Photoshop to add a black smudge across the front of it.
Ooh.
Wait, where is it?
Oh, she's so cute. Oh, it's
in the
Revian
fountain.
flavor.
Oh, that's so pretty.
That's beautiful.
Aww.
Basil, one of my favorite things about you is your smile, and so I wanted to capture that. And I think the black raven feathers are a fantastic look, but me, I'm impartial to greens, so I decided to put you in that, like what you used to wear.
It's beautiful, Rian.
Green's a good color. Everyone should wear it.
I think it's been a while since I've felt like I look this happy, considering all the issues that are going on right here is hopefully what I look like in this picture.
You radiate this energy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you.
You looked happier when you got married.
I would hope so.
That's the type of happiness you can't capture, though.
Right. Well, thank you, Rian. This is beautiful.
You're welcome.
Maybe, you know, after all of this, you could teach art classes. Teach them to little kiddos. It could be a form of, I don't know, helping kids deal with everything that's been going on, like a therapy kind of. Help them express themselves. Joe, I can't hear you.
I think I just might do that.
Let me know how that goes.
I will.
We will at our weekly dinners.
That's
right.
true.
I thought they were game nights. I mean, I guess they can be both. I just...
I would like to eat and game personally.
Who doesn't?
I just want to share a compliment to everyone here. I know I got to say some more specific things about people that got me to learn a lot more about myself and grow as a person. And I truly feel that you all were the difference in my life. And I feel like my life really started
when I got to meet or re-meet some of you. So thank you for the gift that you are to my life, because I am now living because of you all.
We hug Enid.
Oh, no.
We hug Enid.
She accept because she love.
Accept.
I have something that I want to say.
What is it, Gak?
Leanne, you're not that old.
He kind of like laughs really like a jolly laugh at that and kind of throws his head back. And as he does that, he oh.
You spoke too soon, Gak.
No, that's unrelated. That's unrelated.
Young people can have back problems.
Exactly.
When you're swinging a sword all the time, I think your back's probably gonna hurt.
Exactly. Tell you what, carrying all that weight of the front line for so long definitely did a number. Till Enid got here.
I try.
Yeah.
Don't know if I can reverse the damage though, so sorry about that.
No, Lord knows I wasn't getting any help doing that in the beginning, that's for sure.
Excuse me, I was helping in the beginning, and everybody told me to stay back.
Not who I was talking about, Basil.
Oh.
Oh.
Deceased.
I have no idea who you're talking.
You don't?
Well, we all did a really good job at learning how to work with one another.
I just remember shouts and then nothing.
And that's okay sometimes.
That is okay.
Do you guys remember Adina?
I do.
This was before a long time ago, Enid. Around when we first got together.
I know, but I mean, even then, Adina was so different from you, but I don't know. It was strange. It was like you've been here for so long.
I know. When Adina showed up, I was like, I wish we could have her. And
Yeah.
she didn't, and then she left. And,
Well,
but
why'd
then
she
you
leave?
came. And,
Oh, she had a wife.
Baby boy.
Oh, she had a wife?
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. You only know 2 lesbians.
Oh, no. I know more.
What are their names?
Elise, Trinity, Donna, Blossom. So I know her from a different group that I'm a part of.
Oh, from the Lotus?
Nope.
Oh.
This little group called the Forerunners in a different life. It was a strange time.
Oh.
I've also lived 2 lives, Basil.
I thought Basil was the only one with different lives.
Now, this one's it's a very far distant echo of a memory, of an impression, of a tale, of a journey, of a...
Half remembered dream.
Yeah.
Did you eat too much, Rianne?
Nope. Just feeling a little goofy, Gak.
You know what else about Goofy? I thought this cactus juice was gonna actually do something wild, and it didn't. It's just hydrating. Isn't that disappointing?
What did you think it would do?
I can
don't
put
know.
something in it if you want, my love.
I mean, yeah, but then I wanted to, like, experience something new, you know?
I can make it new.
Oh, that's true. Not the time, though. We're about to go into hell.
It's the abyss, but yeah.
Guys, like, come on. Tomato.
No, it's actually
Potato.
a very important difference. In this
Nah.
world, it's a whole other place. With a whole different hierarchy of people that you
What?
haven't pissed off yet.
Yep.
Are there
One
gonna
is
be
based
winged
in
mean
law,
things?
and the other one is based in chaos, so they are
Are
polar
they all
opposites.
trying to kill us still?
No,
The
I'd say
hells
that,
no.
no.
Oh, you're telling me we could just walk into hell and no one would try and kill us?
I might
That's
try
not
and
what
make
you
a deal with
That's
us.
what I'm asking
Well,
now.
Can you?
I could probably
I mean,
walk
you could
in
walk
there.
into anywhere and someone's gonna try to kill us.
Mhm.
Well, then everywhere's hell, I guess. So.
Not with you guys.
Hey.
Not here.
Wow. Bet you feel silly now, Enid, don't you?
I
know
always
who
feel
deserves
silly,
the
but I
world?
own it better.
No one owns being silly better than Gak, and that is a fact, all right?
Yeah.
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 But he's my brother. We're silly together. Like, I feed off his silliness.
Yeah.
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 Basil's sitting like, what? I didn't put anything.
But I did.
I also want to let you guys know, Chip says that he loves you all and he's happy that he's part of the group.
Oh, we love Chip.
Love you, Chip. Absolutely do.
Well said, Chip.
Here, here.
You know what? After we get done painting, Gak, your mansion is so incredibly large. Does anybody want to take a ride on Hikari in the mansion? If that's all right,
Yes.
Gak. Oh, yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I would. Her wings are beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They are. It was
How does she feel?
well, it's strange. I really good for one, but ever since casting that spell, I have such a stronger telepathic bond with her now that I can actually pretty much communicate with her at will now.
Does she sound a little hoarse?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Gideon, I want you to know that I appreciate the joke, but
Uh-huh.
that was the funniest thing that's happened tonight. Okay.
Thanks.
All right.
That was the goal.
I wanted to be clear that was funny, but that I loved. Okay.
Have we ever had Gak laugh like that?
No. And I'm afraid that it'll never happen again, and that makes me really sad, actually.
I like horse stuff.
Gak, when...
Maybe not say it like that. Yours didn't say that. That's Kayla.
Basil said it. Someone needs to tell him.
You're muted, John, if you're saying anything.
No, I'm just speaking to myself. Sorry.
Okay.
I will say, as the night goes on and you continue painting and finally finish up all of you, you finish up eating for the night and you all go out into the central platform. Oh, Gideon.
Am I the only one that didn't share my painting?
Yeah, Gideon, show us.
Oh,
I
yeah,
wanna
we
see
go
what I
back.
look like.
Gideon.
All right, cool. I mean, Gideon's literally never painted before. Do you want me to roll like performance to see if it's not total dog shit or like?
Roll it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
All
go
right,
ahead.
cool. Where are you? Because of the bracers, I have advantage on performance checks.
Hell
Funny
yeah.
enough.
That's that telekinesis. That's what's doing that.
Is
for
that
you.
why I asked to do this? Maybe.
Oh.
All right, 21.
Oh, good.
I'm gonna say it looks good. Like it's obviously not great. Like he's not done this a lot of times.
Yeah,
I
it
also
is.
Stole...
Good.
Yeah, I also used AI because I can't draw anything. So, but yeah, what it is, it's an image of Gak, but he's playing marbles with planets in the galaxy, and he just looks huge in comparison to all of them.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the image.
Share it.
That's so cool.
Where's it at?
He's coming.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Gak is gone.
He turns the painting around, and everyone's face just.
Yeah.
Gideon,
Yes.
whatever you use to make this painting, do that to cast spells. That's what I do. You used your imagination.
Damn.
I will keep that in mind, Gak.
So pretend you're making that. And,
I'm gonna,
and there you go.
I'm gonna do that during a time when we're not fighting the Demogorgon.
Yeah.
But I will do that. Remind me after that.
Yeah, no need to take chances right now, but
Okay, glad you understand.
that's really cool.
Thanks.
So, as you all make your way out into the central platform, Hikari stepping by Rian, one after another, whoever wants to, is able to ride on Hikari's back inside of the mansion. And in this moment, you watch the mansion kind of just grow in size, and you all extend outward from the center, almost giving this wide berth as Hikari has so much room to fly around. And each one of you who fly around have an extravagant and amazing time just flying around all of the elevators, all of the archways, and because it is a hall, all of the screams of excitement kind of echo through the hall as all of you, as Hikari comes back down, and all of you know that it is getting late. It is almost time to go to bed at this moment. Is there any last things anyone wants to do before everyone heads to sleep?
Basil gives mass hugs.
Yeah, hugs for everyone.
Hugs. Hug.
Wasn't that something
Hug.
from one of the first sessions? I cast Mass Hug. That sounds really
No.
familiar.
If yes, that is amazing of me.
I think it might have been you that said it the first time.
I have no recollection.
If so, it had no effect on Gideon, unfortunately. But
You in the chat, get to it. Go check out and see if that's something that's been said before.
That's a lot.
We were in Han before it.
That's true.
Anything else? All right. So, all of you head to your various chambers, some of you together, and the rooms that you head into are honestly, because this is Gak's mansion, it is whatever you want. It either looks like your home and your abode in the Stormhold Keep, or something more extravagant, or it looks like a forest that you can sleep in. Anything you can think of in this moment, the room turns into as you walk through its doors. I mean, if you wanted it to, it would. So, as you all go to rest, Gak, as you are one of the last ones, it is your mansion, as you are kind of looking through and setting things up, you start to walk through the halls, and you notice that there is a room you didn't create. And as you look at it, it's a library. A vast, expansive library. And you instinctually walk towards it. Nothing can be in here that you have not let inside yourself. So you know that danger does not await you on the other side of this door frame. And as you walk, it seems familiar. The presence seems familiar. And as soon as you step through the doorway, the mansion behind you disappears, and the library grows upward in size to millions and millions of rows of books and tomes that kind of shape and twist among themselves. You know this place. You are in the Lyceum of Ioun. As you walk through the halls, you see the visage of the goddess in front of you. And you hear her voice. Gak,
it is time that we speak. And you see that as she appears, the soft blue light around you, the very air around her fills with this endless depth of wisdom as she looks at you. Oh, that was an echo, wasn't it, the whole time? Sick. What you face ahead is no simple battle of flesh and steel. Demogorgon's forces are endless, multiplying as long as he remains on this plane. His rift is an open wound feeding his madness into this world. You must understand, Gak, as long as that rift stays open, there is no victory. She steps closer towards you, her gaze never leaving, as she says, you know of Izirin. Izirin the Deceiver. He waits for you in Ventus Ferrum. Drawn to the chaos like a moth to flame, his ambition is less dangerous than Demogorgon's madness, though his methods are more insidious. He has waited for this moment, Gak. His power has grown in the darkness, and the web of he weaves will not be so easily unraveled. Be cautious, for his greatest strength is not his magic, but his ability to twist what you believe. Do not let him turn your mind against yourself. And you can see that her voice grows in more seriousness. But Izirin is not the only force at play in this corrupted city. You and your allies will face a greater trial still. The crown Rian's father once wore. It sits upon a broken man. His soul is twisted, his mind lost in shadow, and the bond of blood will be a heavy weight on your companion. That confrontation might cut deeper than any blade. The king is not the only one whose heart lies in torment. There is another who waits below the city, a beast of hunger and destruction. Yanogu, the Lord of Knolls, will come for you with his claws and teeth and his endless appetite for ruin and driving. You must destroy him, or he will tear the city like a plague. Prepare to face him, and his hunger will not be satiated by anything else less than total destruction. And then you can see that the books around her start to just kind of float, and pages start to just kind of unfurl. Ventus Ferrum is a place of layers, Gak. You will find your trials in its heights and in its depths. What awaits you on the ground will tear at your flesh, but what you face above will tear at your heart and your mind. You and your allies will need more than strength to survive what is coming. Wisdom will be your guide through this labyrinth of darkness. And remember this, Gak. Demogorgon is of the abyss. As long as he remains in the prime material, his power will never truly fade. You cannot defeat him here. The abyss is where his essence belongs, and only there, in the depths of his own chaos, can ye be destroyed. The rift must be his doorway home. You must force him back into the rift. Only then will you have a chance to strike him down once and for all. And you see before this vision fades, she says, I had given you knowledge back. Use it wisely. Ventus Ferrum is a city built on corruption and chaos, but there is always a path through the darkness. You must find it. Seek clarity, Gak. In knowledge, you will find your way. And in an instant, Gak, you are pulled backwards. The library gets smaller and smaller. The millions of books turn into thousands, that turn into hundreds, that turn into a couple, as the room that you are in, this library, starts to dissipate as you are outside of the doorway, and the doorway shuts and closes. Gak, as you come to, with the knowledge of what awaits you in the battle ahead at Ventus Ferrum, a beast, lesser demon lord, Izirin, Rian's corrupted father, and Demogorgon await you forward. But on top of that, you gain knowledge
that Ayun imparts onto you. You now know that Demogorgon has the following resistances: cold, fire, and lightning. And the following immunities: poison. Cannot be damaged by any weapon that is not magical. He cannot be charmed, frightened, poisoned, or exhausted. You feel this wealth of clarity over you as you are back in your mansion.
Okay, well, I'll tell everyone that in the morning, I guess.
Okay. So,
and Gak will just saunter to a room, kind of dazed.
Yep. As that happens, let me stand up because I need to stand up. Other things happen. Basil. As you find sleep. You are in your world of dreams. As every night. And you sit in a forest filled with a beautiful garden and that home on the hill. As you sit on a tree stump kind of looking out towards that home, you know that Enid is in there happy. And in this silence, the air starts to grow slightly colder, but not discomforting, but this reverent chill. As the shadows start to stretch around and you see emerging out, flying off to a branch nearby, a plant kind of attaching to and wiggling it back and forth, you see a raven that looks towards you, and then immediately you see the shape of the Raven Queen appear in front of you as she says, "Basil, you have come far, my child, and destiny has led you here to this moment, just as it has led your companions. The threads of fate have been woven together tightly, but now they are thinning. The tapestry is fraying," as she starts to walk closer towards you and takes your hands. "In the battle to come, death will walk with you. Much blood will be shed, lives will be claimed. This fight will be a reckoning, and Demogorgon's madness seeks to unravel the very fabric of this world. But you, my daughter, are more than just a witness to this fate. You are the force within it. You are not bound by the threads, you shape them. Remember this, Basil. You are powerful. You are not merely a servant of death. You are its keeper. You are my daughter, and within you flows the power of life and death itself. And you have walked through shadows, and now you must stand in the light of your own strength. Trust in yourself, Basil. You are capable of far more than you realize. You will be tested, but you must hold fast to your purpose. Demogorgon must die. And it is in his death that will bind the fraying threads, and fate will be restored balance. The blood that will be spilled is part of this story, but in the end, it is not written. You, my daughter, have the power to shape it. I will be with you in spirit. I will be watching, guiding you from the shadows. You will never walk alone. My eye is ever upon you,
And should you need me, know that I am here. You, my daughter, remember that you carry my legacy, my strength and my will, and now you face the greatest darkness. You will show them what it means to be the Raven Queen's child. I believe in you, and you must believe in yourself. Fate has brought you here, but it's the will that you will see it through. Stand tall. The threads may fray, but you will endure. And you see that she kind of grabs you and holds you for a hug. And you can see that all of the time that you've wanted to kind of respond is this connection. You know that the gates are basically completed. So all of this effort to speak to you, you can see that her visage is just fraying at the sides as she says, I love you with everything that I am, every being that I am, every fiber of life and death. I love you, Basil. Now go and show this corruption what death can do. And she hugs you, and you feel this warmth from someone that you know is always cold. And behind is left a single raven feather.
That was so good. That was so beautiful. Anyway, Basil would pick up the feather and she's going to cast mending to add it to one of the feathers that's on her existing thing.
So as you sit there, this dream that you've had many times, you see Enid walk out of the cabin, kind of wave towards you, and you wave back. And in this moment, from this dream that you've had before, there is no sadness. You're just happy as you kind of get up from your stump and walk towards Enid in the distance. And you continue to sleep. Trance. With that, Yrsa.
Hello.
You stand in a vast field of multicolored flowers, and in the distance, gargantuan twisting trees that almost seem to touch the clouds above. Birds and animals to walk and fly in front of you. As you just kind of walk through this field, your hand down just as the flowers kind of gently brush against them. And you feel this breeze, this rustling. And you smell this scent of damp earth and ocean salt and this sweet fragrance of wildflowers, almost after a rain. The breath of the wild behind you as you turn around and you see the visage of Melora, this very tall, slender, bark-skinned woman with flowers and vines as a cape that narrows down to the ground and almost seems to meld with the plant life and flowers around, and you see her long, bright sun orange hair curling down to the ground as she says,
Yrsa. It is time, Yrsa.
and she walks towards you and says,
You have felt me for so long, like roots of a growing beneath the tree beneath the surface, quietly binding us together. You have sensed the connection, but perhaps never fully understood it. And you see that her voice getting gentle, like the whisper of leaves on a calm day, but there's this message that carries the weight of mountains behind it as she steps closer and says, You, Yrsa Moongleam, you are more than just a protector of the wild. You are not merely one who walks my path. You and I, we are one. And you feel like her words flow like a river carving through your heart. You, Yrsa, are my avatar, the embodiment of my will in this world. The power that stirs within you, that calls the storm in the forest, it is not a gift. It is your birthright. Like the first breath of spring or the rush of a waterfall, you are the storm, Yrsa. You are the wild. As those words sink in, as far-fetched as they seem, you feel this pulse of nature stirring within you, rising like a mighty oak from the depths of roots. It's not this sudden flood of power, however, it is the steady, rhythmic force, like the beat of a drum that has been within you all along, and it grounds your connection to this earth, to the sky, to every living thing you feel, as she continues and says, Through you, I will fight. Together, we will bring balance back to this world, and together, we will endure. And she reaches her hand and places it lightly on your heart, and this touch is warm, Yrsa, like sunlight filtering through a canopy of leaves. You feel a powerful energy radiate through you, but not fierce or overwhelming, but deep, ancient, and undeniable, like the steady rise of a mountain. Demogorgon threatens the very balance of this world. But you and I, Yrsa, we are the scale. Together we will hold balance. We are the branches that will not break, the storm that will not be bent by chaos. You are not alone in this fight, for the wild stands with you. The rivers, the winds, the creatures of this earth, they all stir within you. And as her hand lingers over your heart, you feel that connection crackle and burst like flames, this rush of wind. Wherever you go, Yrsa, I go. Wherever you fight, I fight. You are the force of nature in its purest form, the wild reborn in the face of destruction. Let the wild rise within you. Let it grow like the tallest tree and answer the call. Be the storm. Be the wild. And Yrsa, as that happens, you see her form start to dissipate, and you feel this power surge through you. And you hear once again, be the storm. Be the wild. And Yrsa, you feel a slight change. Like, you feel like everything around you that is connected to nature is connected to you. You feel like when your feet are touching the earth, that they are roots that extend into the ground. And you feel your hair grow just a little longer. And you feel this surge of power as you wake up the next morning. Everyone can hit the long rest button.
Ow, ow.
Yrsa. I also want to say our max HP stays because of hero feast, right?
24 hours. Yeah, it'll be there for 24 hours until the end of the Demogorgon battle.
Yeah, when you take the long rest, it might get rid of it. It does.
Mine got rid of it.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
make
just
sure
put
to
it
add that back on.
It was 16 extra.
Do Rian and Yursa stay in the same room?
Yeah.
Okay. So Rian, as you wake up and see Yursa, there's almost this like glow, like this very faint like firelight off of her skin, and you notice that her hair, dark green, almost gradients into a bright orange near the bottom.
Yursa, and he'll kind of like put like back of his hand on her forehead, like, "Are you feeling all right?"
Yes, actually, I think I feel complete. I feel wonderful.
A particularly good dream, then.
Well, I don't think it's a dream anymore. And she just smiles.
All right. And I will say, just from Rian's perspective, does it seem like something she wants to talk about right now? Or does she seem content?
She would explain what she knows.
Okay.
Yeah. I kind of recount what happened.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah. And I didn't think that was something that I was deserving of, but I guess I don't really have a choice in the matter because it was me making the decision.
So, if anything, you are most worthy of it.
Well, I'm going to do my best. It's still a gift.
Yes.
And I think it explains a lot. Especially recently.
Especially recently.
But I'm still me. That hasn't changed.
No amount of power given to you in this world could change that simple fact, Yursa.
Good.
Well then, still Yursa, right?
Yes. Oh goodness, yes.
Well then, Yursa, Avatar of Melora.
Oh, that's very unnecessary.
Kind of like, I just say it like that.
Because Kayla hated it. And Yursa cringed.
He'll say, well, I think it's time to bring balance back to this place, don't you?
Yes, I agree. Rian. Yes, I will marry you. But let's survive this first. And she'll, extend her hand.
Well, telepathy must have been one of the powers that you had received from this divine boon, because that was something I was planning on doing this morning before we left. And he'll kind of reach into his pocket and he pulls out not like a metal ring, but a very finely woven one from malleable twigs. And you can see there are these incredibly small flowers that are currently in bloom around it. Some of those were given to me by Akari. I talked to her about it to make sure that it was the right time. So
Well, I trust her decision making.
I always have, and well, she led me to you, so I know that She makes good choices. And he'll kind of put the ring on Yrsa's finger and hug and kiss her.
Yeah, Yrsa will druidcraft a little one around Brienne's.
Oh! Would you look at that? It's green.
Everything's green. That was Caleb.
Mm-hmm.
As the rings are placed on, and you guys have a moment to yourselves, there is a loud at the door. All of you hear it as it echoes through the halls, and the door opens, as it is somebody who Gak has allowed in, as it echoes through the cathedral halls of this mansion. You hear the dwarf. Lords and ladies, we're about to approach. If you all want to, come out. We're almost there.
Let's go.
Thank you.
So, you grab your things. You notice some changes amongst the party, but there's not much time left. As the door opens, you see dark sky in front of you. The sky is darker now. As the wind whips past all of your faces, you see a cacophony of lightning and thunder in the distance, and these raising of smoke. As the airship descends through these storm-tossed skies, you see Ventus Ferrum looms ahead. An ominous floating fortress suspended above the desolation below. Jagged lightning tears across the heavens, illuminating the blackened city as it hovers, an impossible citadel of spires and madness. Beneath it, the ruins of the capital, Valheim, stretched out, reduced to rubble and flames. A massive crater where life once thrived. Smoke and ash rise into the storm-choked sky, twisting into the darkness above like a grim omen of what is to come, as you see in front of you Ventus Ferrum. As the airship approaches its landing, you gaze out to see the armies amassed below. Thousands of soldiers, their ranks drawn from the lands of Isvaria, Dagrum, and Valamine, stand ready for war. Their banners fluttering in the wind, symbols of hope against the encroaching darkness. The air is charged with tension, the calm before a storm that will test their courage and resolve. These are the forces of the three kingdoms, united for one final stand against Demogorgon and his demonic horde. As the airship touches down, and as you step off of the deck, the weight of this moment pressured upon all of you. The sky is alive with storms, and the ground beneath your feet is scorched and cracked. A testament of the destruction that has already begun. All around you, soldiers make final preparations, their eyes glancing towards the sky of the floating fortress that casts its shadow over the battlefield. As you disembark, a group of leaders approach. Walking with purpose is Queen Erin Yenfina, the sovereign and queen of Isvaria, her war armor gleaming even in the dim light of the storm. Her presence is regal and commanding, her expression unflinching as she meets all of your gazes and nods her head. Next to her, Hulfric Stormfall, the dwarf king of Dagrum, strides forward, his stout frame encased in heavy, heavy plate armor. Despite his height, the power in his presence of the warrior king is undeniable. His war hammer slung across his back. You see a third, completing the trio, Lucian Blackmore, the hand of the king of Valamine, his sharp eyes scanning the field with precision and tactician. His hands rest confidently on the hilts of 2 blades. You see his expression calculating, focused. But it is Garen Tigerhawk, the commander of the Isvarian armies, who steps forward to greet you as you see and hear the voice of the Deep Residents address all of you. Seekers, the time is upon us. Follow me. And with a nod, he turns and leads you through the ranks of soldiers, the thunder in the distance of the battle growing louder with each step. And as you walk through these soldiers, you hear murmurs. Is that the Seekers? Is that yours? Rian, Basil, Gideon, Enid. You hear them murmuring the names of all of you as they you make your way through. You make your way to a war tent. You see that the atmosphere inside is heavy with conflict. A large map of Ventus Ferrum and the surrounding battlefield lies on the table, marked with troop movement and strategic points, lanterns casting flickering light over faces of those gathered around the table. As your eyes scan the room, you see familiar faces. Friends and allies who have stood beside you through countless battles. Chapter Master Sayori Alvain of the Order of the Lotus stands tall at the table alongside her companion Elias, both looking to the party, bearing a bright smile. Beside them, Gabriel and Celia Blackmore, their expressions softening slightly as they meet your gaze, and they nod to you. Standing behind them near the wall is Orion Essex, the dull expression on his face lightening slightly as you enter, and next to him, Marithil Essex, whose outlook switches to a large smile as he raises a sapphire chalice to all of you, nods, and drinks from it. The tent is filled with this weight of destiny. The map before you shows you the layers of the floating fortress above and the infernal forces arrayed against you below. The time for planning is drawing to an end. The final stand against Demogorgon at a hand, and all eyes turn towards you. The heroes destined to face the chaos at the heart of it all. And on that note, that is where we are going to end tonight's session. Thank you for joining us.
Woo!
For session 100 of Tales of Evrand.
Woo!
Joe, take us out.
Woo! Thanks for watching, everybody. Be sure to tune in on Saturday for the Isles of Iveria, next Tuesday for the Tales of the Salamander Coast, as they are also in the end game, both of them going through their third encounter. No, Isles going through their second end of the world encounter out of 4, and Ceci going through their third end of the world encounter, leading to the very end of the campaign. Same as what we're doing here in the Tales of Evrand, both coming to a closing all around the same time. So next week for the Tales of Evrand as well. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.